8. So those are drills I worked in the gym. And that's something that us old fighters, we don't forget. Sit, come under. I mean, that's just something I worked in the gym and it came out, you know. I was expecting a right-handed fighter to go right hand. I came up to the left counter. That's something that's basic in boxing. So,
wow. So
it worked to perfection.
So tell us about what's next for you. Any upcoming fights after this one?
You know, there's 2 offers on the table now. Come back in September. I want to stay active. I'm looking for the big fights right now. Maybe come back again September with the grace of God. Come back, September. Come back again. Maybe one more time for the year ends and start off the new year looking for a good name. Looking to patch a good fight.
So there you have it, folks.
I'm after history.
So there you have it, folks. He's going to come back maybe in September. We'll be looking out for you, man. That'll be great to see you again. Do you know where you maybe want to fight? I mean, you mentioned that on the break that you like El Paso weather. How's the weather up there?
New York, the weather's humid now. Summertime's kicking in. New York is good right now.
Do you like the El Paso weather? When you got here and trained in El Paso with Roger, was the weather fitting for you? Because it's kind of dry heat here.
It's different. You gotta be hydrated. It's different. It took me some time to settle in, but it's different. What I like about El Paso is the Philly. Everybody want to help each other. El Paso is hungry to rise and get his name out there. I mean, I like the energy in El Paso.
Yeah, and there's and then you mentioned with Raj that what was so different about Roger that you liked so much about him?
His wisdom, his knowledge. And just talking about boxing, you hear what he said, like, wow, yeah, I mean, this is my language, and you learn things. It's not fun in the gym, you don't learn. Doing the routine is not fun. So working with Roger a couple of days I was there, it wasn't a routine, it was different, it was learning, like I'm in class, it was fun. But when you stop learning, it's not fun no more. Boxing becomes boring. And it was different things. He was pinpointing my errors. Like, you right about that. We talk boxing. It was fun.
It was fun.
I respect, I love to have that, man. It makes it better, so it works.
Well, I mean, and you're right. I mean, if a fighter's not comfortable with his trainer, then the fighter's no good because, like you said, we got to be physically fit and mentally fit. Well, Camacho, besides your boxing career and your boxing, what you do right now, you're continuing to fight, obviously. Are you involved in any other capacity in the world of boxing? Are you involved in anything else?
I would coach a couple of things. Couple off on the table, couple of commentating gigs, couple of fights I'm going to manage them. I would love to start my own promotion soon. But for that, I need to be hands-on. I need to have time for it. And being an active boxer, I can't have both. So, but I mean, I'm always a boxer. I'm always giving advice. I'm always in the gym. Always helping the fighters out.
Wow, that's great, Camacho, to hear. We're almost wrapping it up here with you. I know you got other stuff to do and you're in training camp. Let me ask you a question. Did you see the last heavyweight boxing fight between Reese and Joshua?
I seen part of it.
What did you think of Reese becoming the first heavyweight champ of Mexican descent?
Just like I thought a great accomplishment. History. He's great, but Reese as a fighter is a tough fighter. His style is fitting for Joshua's style. And let me tell you something. People say, well, it happened one time. That's about it. It may happen again. Reese is a pretty decent fighter.
He is a good fighter. I mean, do you think how do you think the second fight's going to
happen again?
You think he'll beat him in the second fight?
Decent fighter. Mechanic-wise, skill-wise, I think he may be a tad better than Joshua.
Wow, yeah, I think we believe so. I think now, I mean, it's going to be a big fight, and I wanted to just pick your brain on that because that's the talk of the town right now, man. Getting all these, Reese now, everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. He obviously has accomplished a lot. He has 3 belts now, so that was a great accomplishment because there's la raza, right, champ?
Yep.
Champ.
Well, being the first Mexican for me, I don't care. It's good for you, Mexican, but for me, he represents Latino. It's always a blessing.
Yeah, and always
he earned it. It wasn't given to me. He earned it. It just showed you, stay in shape, believe in yourself, never give up. He proved that.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he proved it. So, I mean, obviously, it was a great accomplishment, and it was great for the sport, right, champ?
right now, if I was him, I'll go back and get back to fight in Mexico, California. I'll fight another guy like Alfredo Kendo or Chris Aviola or somebody like and back it up. Milk boxing.
Well, Chris Ariola is going to be fighting here coming up, and that's going to be another war. But that'll be a nice tuna fight for Reese to fight a Chris Ariola, the Nightmare, huh?
Yeah, Alfredo Kendo, another type of heavyweight coming up. Milk the championship. There's no need. You in a high position. Get the Wilder fight. You're going to have to accomplish a dream, but do things right. Milk it. Boxing is a cool sport, but they need this a new style of boxing. You want to face it or not? Who is the new star of boxing?
Well, champ, any last words you want to tell our raza here in El Paso before we send you off, and thanking you so much for being with us? Any last words and advice for anybody listening out there?
La raza te quiere un montón, me quiere el corazón, la raza, ustedes son buenos. To my fans I've been coming back, the Macho Time Legacy will always keep on. I'm staying active. I got my book coming out. It's still Macho Time. We're working on the projects. I got my own couple products coming out myself when it comes to boxing. So, stay busy and always pa'lante. Believe in yourself. Put a dream out there. Accomplish it. Or put a dream. You can't live for nothing. Pa'lante.
Always forward. What a great advice, champ. Again, thank you so much for being on our show tonight. It's been an honor to have you, man, and whenever you come visit us at the Warriors Edge Boxing Gym. We'd like to thank Roger Avalos from El Paso and El Paso Trade for getting us out here with you guys and connecting me with you all the way from New York City. It's been an honor to have you at the Web Boxing 101 podcast. Camacho, many blessings to you. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we're going to continue our show. And folks, let me tell you, man, if you're looking for any real estate needs, right? If you're looking for a home to buy, residential, fixer-ups, or foreclosures, commercial real estate and leasing, hey, man, we got a guy for you in the game. His name is Henry Holguin. Great guy. Look him up. He's a realtor here in El Paso. He does work. He works for you, man. He's a great guy, stand-up guy. So if you're looking for something in residential or commercial, hit him up. 915-630-3122. He's a big sponsor for us here on tonight's show. And also, we like to what a stand-up guy, huh? What a stand-up guy Camacho was. His dad was a great champ. I remember seeing his dad and growing up and seeing when he used to fight Chavez, Oscar de la Hoya, flamboyant guy. I told his son it was a love-hate with that guy. A lot of people didn't like him because his flamboyant style, but he's the one that invented all that ring walk, that inside. So that segment of the interview with Camacho is being sponsored by Henry Holguin, the real estate professional here in El Paso, Texas. So folks, what's new in boxing? What's going on in boxing right now? Big fight coming up, big fight weekend as well. How about Comey versus Beltran? That's right. The old trusty Steve Beltran is back. They did have her final press conference. The road to the lightweight supremacy continues tomorrow at the Pachanga Resort Casino. And this is when the IBF World Lightweight Champion Richard Comey, he's 28-2. This guy has 25 knockouts, Raj. Makes the first defense of his title against former lightweight world champion Ray Beltran. They're going to clash together tomorrow. The winner is expected to fight the winner of the July 19 Eliminator. It's an IBF title eliminator featuring sensation, an unbeaten sensation, Teofimo Lopez. The winner of this Facto tournament could convincingly face ununified champion Vasily Lomachenko for all 4 lightweight title belts in early 2020. You can see it live on ESPN tomorrow night or ESPN Deportes. It's going to be a huge fight. That's going to kick off the weekend. It's going to be an awesome fight, I think. Beltran is the old trusty steed, and he can pull it off. And we would like to see Beltran against maybe Teofimo Lopez. We've discussed about Lopez in recent and past podcasts, how he carries himself. He's a great fighter, but going back to that flamboyant style, that's what he has. So big fight tomorrow night. You can see it, guys, on ESPN Live tomorrow or ESPN Deportes. Also, in the news is Demetrius Andrade, the 27-0 undefeated individual middleweight champion. Demetrius Andrade, he is the WBO middleweight champion. Believe that his big homecoming night will be perfect, right? He's going to fight. He's going to be fighting against Masit Sulecki. He's 28-1. On Saturday night, you can watch it on DAZN at the Dunkin' Donut Center in Providence, Rhode Island. Again, you can watch it on Sky Sports or DAZN. The reason why that makes it all significant, because he's not fighting. He's fighting probably, I don't even know who he's fighting. I've never seen this guy. But Demetrius Andrade has been known that, guess what? I want to fight Canelo Alvarez. That's my next guy. I want big top names, and he actually thinks he can beat Canelo Alvarez. He's the WO middleweight champion. The man called Boo Boo hopes that activity combined with a convincing performance this Saturday will lead him to the big one. And again, this is a showdown for the undisputed 160-pound world champion against Canelo Alvarez. Again, Canelo Alvarez probably might have his sights on somebody else. Boo Boo said that he's not going to turn down a Canelo fight. I won't sell myself short, but I will not turn down a Canelo fight. Andrade said this week when asked about the prospect of a fall fight with Alvarez, Alvarez is due in return September the 14th. That weekend is his weekend. And while talks center on the third fight with Triple G, no deal has been struck yet. So kind of gives Andrade there is light at the end of the tunnel, gives him hope, gives a glimmer of hope if we get to see that fight. And of course, Andrade must first deal what's in his immediate future, and that does not figure to be an easy task. He will make a second title defense against Masit Sulecki on Saturday. Again, you can see it on DAZN. And again, Rhode Island is Andrade's hometown. So Andrade wants to make a big show. He wants to make a big stand to see if he has supremacy, and hopefully they'll get him a fight with Canelo Alvarez. So that'll be a good fight. Big middleweight. Canelo needs a challenge. I think this will be it. And again, talking said about a third fight with Triple G. There's been rumors that it's not going to happen. Who knows, man? I mean, promoters are in the middle. Television corporation, whatever the case may be, we don't know if we're going to see that happen anytime soon. So we'll get to see it, folks. Big fight starting tomorrow, Friday night, ESPN. And then you can see it on DAZN Saturday on DAZN, the Demetrius Andrade fight. That should be a good one as well. Also on the Demetrius Andrade fight, you're also going to see some heavyweights. You're going to see Joseph Parker on that undercard. That'll be good as well. So it'll be a good night of fights on Saturday, and you can watch them on DAZN. That's right. Other news, and before we get to the news, I just want to thank everybody for live streaming with us tonight on this podcast when we had a special guest, Hector Camacho Jr. Well, how about what's going on in the amateur world? IOC bans AIBA from 2020 Olympic boxing. Yeah, that just came out. The AIBA has been banned from Olympic boxing. Hey, listen, folks, transparency is the key to any business, to any corporation. So now AIBA gets punched in the face. You got a big black guy, right? Gets punched in the face, and it looks bad on them. I mean, because of corruption, deals gone wrong, officiating, you name it. AIBA is the big sanctioning body. The International Olympic Committee, also known as IOC, voted Wednesday to ban the AIBA, recommending suspension from the Olympics, right? Suspends the AIBA. So what they did, they suspended AIBA's Olympic status. As a result, the AIBA will not oversee qualifying for the 2020 Tokyo Games competition, all right, at all. All right. The IOC has assigned a task force headed by the Morinari Watanabe, head of the International Gymnastic Federation of all things, to organize qualifiers in the Tokyo Games competition. So we saw that coming, folks. If you've never followed on this, it's because of the transparency. Russian Boxing Federation Secretary General and AIBA Executive Committee member Umar Kremlev, who recently met with the WBA President Gilberto Jesus Mendoza, IBF President Daryl Peoples, and WBO President Francisco Valcarcel at the Global Forum, issued this statement. I think that today, after all the decisions of the IOC, all members of the AIBA Executive Committee will understand that we need to unite and say goodbye to the old. And it's like anything, folks, right? Sometimes in corporations like that one, even smaller corporations, even at our level down here, right? At our commissions, at our unions, we got to get out with the old, and we need fresh blood in there. And it's always important, man. And the water gets stagnant, and we get complacent, and sometimes we need change. And always new blood is good. I know Roger in the last podcast said that he had to take some time off. Sometimes they need to take time off, and then you come back more refreshed, full of energy, a different view. Because, the water does get stagnant. He says that, you know what, goodbye to the old, and everyone guilty of what brought AIBA must confess, apologize to the boxing community, and leave. And again, being transparent is key. I guess they weren't, but there was a lot of stuff. And you know what, folks? You see a lot of the stuff you see, and it's always in boxing, and that's what's hurt boxing. That's what continues to hurt boxing. And I hope with this and this task force that is being made, they can get new members into the AIBA and start. And it also happened in the FIFA, in the soccer federation, or in the soccer world, or in football world, right? When FIFA, years of corruption and cities and countries being paid off or bought off to have the World Cup in their areas or in their zones or in their region. Out with the old, in with the new. And I think that's going to help that. And I guess that's what FIFA's going to do, but I know there was issues on that as well. So that's what's going on. And AIBA said on our task as members of the AIBA Executive Committee is to unite, to accept early reforms, and to start everything from scratch together to bring boxing back to a high level. And in the past podcast, folks, we've been even talking at our levels, how can we make it better? I asked my last guest, again, Roger Avalos, if he wanted to be part, if ever, of the LBC again. Not that they're doing a bad job, but sometimes, guys, we need new blood in there. New folks, new ideas, just like anything, even at our jobs. New people come in with new ideas. Nobody likes changes, but sometimes it's needed. We need changes, and maybe that's what AIBA needs. We have already launched the process of creating the World Boxing Fund and are receiving hundreds of calls from around the world from everyone who cares about boxing. So that's good news. Saying that they are waiting for the moment when they can start cooperating with the foundation, including to repay AIBA's debts. And AIBA had a lot of debt. Thanks to the whole boxing community, that everyone supports our idea with the creation of a fund and the preservation of Olympic boxing. Because, folks, Olympic boxing has been in the dirt. And you know what? Let me tell you, Olympic boxing, USA boxing, has not been that good. Period. USA boxing has not been that good. And I believe that USA boxing needs to be more transparent at lower levels, because that's where it all starts. That's where we have our kids.
They're affiliated with AIBA.
And USA boxing is affiliated with AIBA. And I think
they take the in other words, they use they go under the AIBA rule book.
Yeah, and we all go by the AIBA rulebook, but I think, like I said, it's been in the dirt, and again, I want to praise those people that are doing a good job. Not everybody, but I think transparency is important. The fees starts from the fees and this and that, and it makes it hard for a lot of people to even cooperate, to get involved, especially in the sport. Again, especially at lower levels, at lower people that can't afford the gyms, that can't travel with these kids and go out of town and get the tournaments, because all the tournaments up in the East Coast, and it's an expense because the tournaments last for a week. Plus the kids already had to buy their books and et cetera, et cetera. So, and I'm not saying the USA boxing is wrong, but again, like anything, guys, out with the old, in with the new. And I hope this trickles down to the lesser gyms, lesser corporations, lesser LBCs, and we make a change. And I've always said we need to make a change for the best. And I hope in AIBA doing that, folks, it'll make a change and it'll trickle down to the smaller entities, and we can make a change. And again, this is for the wholesome of boxing, folks. And we've been talking about why is boxing so low, or we don't have as good turnout. Well, there you have it, folks. If the higher ups are not doing good, the lower forms are not going to doing good. And again, there is some great people in boxing, but we'll see how that happens. Well, we're almost done, folks. But I want to just mention another one of our sponsors, The Healthy Start. Why don't you guys call Carlos Diaz at 915-245-5949 for all you. They even give law enforcement discounts, USA Boxing discounts as well. We'll deliver to you freshly prepared food to order. These are all your healthy meal preps. That's the fad right now, that meal prep. Man, this guy, you pick your proteins, carbohydrates, and vegetables for each meal. They'll do all the cutting, cooking, packing, and the best of thing of all, they'll deliver for you. All you need to do is sit back and enjoy the food, and it's tremendous. We've had them here at the gym. The food is great. If your fighter is in nutrition and he wants to get in nutrition, these are the people to call. They're always working on new ideas. You pick and choose whatever you want on your tray. Remember, nutrition is the key to any weight loss, weight gain, healthier lifestyle plan, and getting the healthier fighter out in the ring and producing the best fighter. So why don't you guys call Carlos, 915-245-5949, or Elda at 915-204-7376. Like them on Facebook or on Instagram to get your meal per rep. Well, so that was happening, and we talked about kids traveling, right? Well, guess what? Right now, the 2019 National Junior Olympics is underway in Wisconsin, and let me tell you, man, there's a lot of winners, but I really want to point out to all the winners from Las Cruces and El Paso, New Mexico, El Paso, Texas, as they continue to strive for excellency. They won. They've been winning their matches. Again, a good shout out to you kids out there, to the LBC as well for the support, but also, I guess the support of the parents of the kids and those coaches that do a magnificent job with their with their boxers, with their fighters. Great job, and you know what? They've been supported by our LBC, and we have to continue to do that. So a big shout out to that. It's the 40th edition of USA Boxing's National Junior Olympics. Again, it got underway this week with over 350 boxers stepping into the ring at the Marriott. The day got started with the opening ceremonies. So it's a great ceremony which featured a parade of 14 regions. There's 14 regions, guys, as well as the readings of the athletes, coaches, and officials' oath. What a great thing. We had Kayla Gomez from El Paso, Texas, and Richard Fernandez Jr. from San Antonio, Texas. They read the athlete's oath. Mike Lugo from Marietta, Georgia, read the coach's oath, while Wisconsin's own Patricia Pliner from Wisconsin read the official's oath. Other speakers included USA Boxing Executive Director Mike McTee, 2016 Team USA Olympian Michaela Mayer, shout out to her, USA Boxing Alumni Association Chris Coglary, as well as Middleton's Mayor Gerrit Brar. The first session of this year's tournament featured the boxers that could one day potentially represent the USA Boxing. These are striving to represent one of these days, guys, the USA Boxing at the Los Angeles 2028 Olympics. How cool is that? The Pee-wee, bantamweight, and intermediate divisions warmed up the packed arena with exciting bouts, and they are excited. It's good to see these Pee-wees and bantamweights go out there and give it all they got. That's awesome. The day has also concluded with the junior and youth divisions putting on a show and demonstrating the future of USA Boxing is bright. And, we see that AIBA news. It brings like a black cloud. But you know what? Then you see these kids going out there and performing, and it brings a bright light to us, because it's all about, at the end of the day, folks, the kids. The boxing will continue all week and tomorrow with 2 more sessions beginning at noon and again at 6 p.m. with our first set of champions being crowned in the Pee-wee female division. Follow all the action on our free live stream, as well as see results and photos from the event. What I mean from their free live stream, go to www.teamusa.org and you can see the live stream as well. Folks, it's been a pretty good show, man. I mean, we had Hector Camacho Jr. We've had some exciting news. We had some great sponsors with us today. We want to thank everybody for making this possible. It was our first live stream on a podcast through radio, through phone. So hopefully it went well. I mean, we had to take several breaks, but it went well. I mean, hopefully we have more athletes come up on board to talk about boxing. So again, we have a big show, and before we send you off, folks, we also have fights on Showtime, June 29th, from Houston, Jermell Charlo versus Brandon Adams for the WBC middleweight title. That'll be on Showtime. Also, the undercard looks pretty good. Eduardo Ramirez and Erickson Lubin is also part of the eliminator for the middleweight and featherweight title. And then, of course, on the zone, you got Demetrius Andrade going for the WBO middleweight title. And we mentioned that Demetrius wants Canelo Alvarez. So we have a big fight weekend, folks. We'd like to thank everybody out there for listening. And I want to do a shout out to all the gyms out there as well, all over the great state of Texas, state of New Mexico, and all the way from Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, Mexico City. Everybody that listens to us, un saludo grande para la gente de México, de Ciudad Juárez, Gran Peleadores, come from these areas. So I want to give them a good shout out to them as well. All the kids that are in Wisconsin, not just from Texas and New Mexico, from all over the nation, train hard, fight hard, and at the end of the day, just respect all. So big shout out to everybody, folks, and thank you for making this possible for me. We will see you on the next podcast. That'll be next week. It's been fun. It's been real. Folks, anything you do in life, keep it real and put God first. This has been Webboxing 101 Podcast.
2, 1, 0. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.